Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
All right, well, welcome to my 5th episode of This is Floxed on the USA Global and TV Radio Network. If you have dental issues or looking for a non-toxic approach to caring for your teeth, today's episode is for you. We will discuss why oral health is so important and why so many people that are floxed experience tooth breakdown, and how people can avoid synthetic ingredients and toxic treatments when taking care of their own teeth and going to the dentist. Most importantly, my guest will discuss alternatives to fluoride that actually work and how people can protect and rebuild their oral microbiome after it's been damaged by antibiotics like fluoroquinolones. Our teeth can be saved, and if you want to know how, keep watching. Our special guest today is Trina Felber, who has over 3 decades of experience as a registered nurse, a certified registered nurse anesthetist. Trina is the best-selling author of Beauty's Dirty Secret, and she created Primal Life Organics, a company that offers high-quality, clean beauty dental products that are free from harmful ingredients. I recommend these products to people all the time, especially the tooth powder, and I brought mine to show. I use it every single day. Trina is referred to as the mother of the clean beauty movement, a clean and healthy beauty expert, skincare formulator, advanced practice nurse, and business mentor. She has been featured in over 200 podcasts and 8 groundbreaking docuseries. Her experience has solidified her reputation as a trusted authority in the health and wellness space. Lastly, Tina has been so kind to create a Floxed dental healing guide specifically just for us. For those that are floxed, it also includes people that have mast cell. This guide is so thorough, it even includes how to make your own dental care products at home. That will be covered at the end of the interview. So now I'd like to welcome Trina.
Hi, TALIA.
Hi, Trina. Thank you for joining today. I'm so excited that you're here. I've been waiting for this for weeks.
I know. We've been going back and forth, and it's
I know.
such this really breaks my heart to hear about all these people having so many problems after going to the doctor and taking things that you think are going to help you. I was kind of in that boat at one point where I was on a long-term antibiotic, and it really did some damage to my gut. So I can really feel for everyone out here.
Yeah, thank you. I know that everybody's looking forward to this show because, you know, after we get floxed, or people with mast cell, or people in general, you don't even have to have a chronic illness, have so many issues with their teeth. And, you know, we find that dentists are kind of like doctors. You don't know who you can trust. Sometimes you leave worse after the dentist. So I think the best way to kick off the show is for my first question, beside aesthetics, because that's always what I've cared about, is the way they look. But besides the way they look, why is it so important to take care of our teeth?
That's a great question. And you're right. Aesthetically, everyone wants to have a beautiful smile. So when your smile starts to fade for whatever reasons, whether it's because of reasons like this, where your teeth are starting to fall apart, if you will, because of something that internally is going on, or if it's just happening because of your diet and things like that, the bacteria inside your mouth, if your teeth don't look good, you know, it really sets the impression, and people do judge you by the way that your teeth look, because your mouth is the gatekeeper, the window of internal health. So there's a thinking that if someone's mouth isn't healthy and their smile isn't healthy, then they're not healthy. And I know for so many people, you want people to really look at you and think, I'm healthy, I take care of myself. And if your mouth is saying something different, it really cuts down on your confidence.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's how a lot of us feel now. We put so much work into taking care of our teeth, and now after fluoroquinolone or whatever antibiotic, it's a struggle, especially like I know you cover mast cell in that pamphlet, but a lot of us on mast cell have very few foods and supplements that we can take. So the diet we get to support our oral health is not good. So my next question is, what are our teeth actually made of, and what role does fluoride play in weakening or damaging our tooth structure? Because, you know, when we go to the dentist, it's all about fluoride, 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 get the fluoride trays and all of that. So they make us think that it's good for us and it's something we should be using on our teeth.
Yeah, the enamel is primarily made up of what we call hydroxyapatite. So it's a combination of calcium and phosphate. Um, However, you do have other minerals in your teeth. So you do have some manganese and silica and other minerals. The problem is when you start to lose calcium and phos or any other minerals, your teeth start to get what we call pits or holes in them. Ultimately, these tiny pits and holes can become bigger and bigger, and then you end up with damaged teeth, whether it be your teeth start to chip or you get cavities or all of those things happen. So the problem with when you're floxed is that fluoride, or even just using toothpaste that has fluoride or fluorinated water, when you're already floxed, so you have already got an abundance of fluoride in your body doesn't want it, it doesn't like it, but it doesn't actually recognize it as fluoride. Fluoride's very similar to the other minerals, and sometimes the body can't tell the difference. So what happens is fluoride starts to kick off other more the minerals that you really need, like calcium and phos. It starts to replace the calcium with fluoride, and this happens in your tissues, it happens in your bones, but it also happens in your teeth. And when that happens, the hydroxyapatite turns into fluoroapatite, which is the fluoride piece of it, apatite. And while way back when they thought fluoride was going to strengthen the teeth, it doesn't really strengthen the teeth. It actually makes them weaker. Fluoroapatite is thin and it's weaker than your normal enamel. So when you've had an abundance of fluoride in your body, you've already got this process going on, and then you're using fluoride-based dental products on top of that, you're pretty much just compounding the problem, just making it bigger and bigger for your body.
So one of the things you just said is that our teeth are made of mostly hydroxyapatite and phosphorus. Is that what you said?
It's hydroxyapatite is calcium.
Calcium and
Yeah.
calcium and phosphorus. So then it would make sense that we should be using hydroxyapatite, right? Since that's what our teeth are made of, right?
Exactly. But there's other ways to get those minerals in your teeth. Hydroxyapatite, there's two forms of hydroxyapatite. There's nano and micro hydroxyapatite. And nano hydroxyapatite is what's typically used in the dental industry. And there's just new research coming out. I feel like for the community that we're talking to, hydroxyapatite might not be the best answer. at this point. What I typically recommend is starting with a clay-based, something that has clay in it, because clay is going to do more than just remineralize the teeth. Clay, like bentonite and French green, has minerals in the exact same minerals in the right form that your teeth need to remineralize. But in addition to being able to put the minerals back in your teeth, it also has a binding capability. So it binds to toxins in the body and pulls those toxins out. That's key for anyone that's been floxed, because you've got this abundance of something in your body, fluoride, that your body doesn't want, doesn't know how to use, and it's making you sick. And you're not going to feel better until your body is able to get rid of it. But it holds on to it because it doesn't recognize it as fluoride. It doesn't know what it is. And it's literally just taken the place of something that's supposed to be there. So in order to get that out of your body, you do need to do some things that will help pull that out. Clay is one of those things, especially inside your mouth, that will pull those the fluoride and other toxins out of the tissues of your mouth.
So I'm jumping. I know we have a list of questions, but now I'm jumping ahead because this kind of fits with it. But there's a lot of people that reached out to me saying that, and I talked to you about this, saying that when they go to the dentist, they get very sick. They scrape, they have a lot of bacteria in their mouth, or the doctor wants to give them antibiotics. And let me tell you, as a Floxed person, people will do anything to avoid taking antibiotics. We are absolutely terrified. So I've heard people talk about ozone and all kinds of stuff to put in your mouth before you go to the dentist, because antibiotics is a no. So is clay, according to what you just said, clay is one of the things you can use in advance to get the bacteria out before they scrape?
So what I would say, yes and no. So what I would say is you want to prepare your mouth before you go to the dentist, and it can't happen in a mouth swish or something like that. What I'm talking about is rebuilding the microbiome inside your mouth by getting rid of the things that are destroying it. Most toothpaste and and mouthwashes on the market are destroying your good bacteria. So it's really leaving you susceptible to all the harmful bacteria. So by taking, one little spoon of clay or, an antibiotic before you go, is kind of like the Band-Aid approach the dentist is going to give you, because they're not able to prep you in a way that is going to get you to the dentist with the healthiest mouth. So that's where I come in. I want to start today, and I want you to start rebuilding the good bacteria in your mouth. As soon as you do that, then you can help regenerate the gum tissue that might be bleeding or inflamed, and you can start to rebuild the enamel. The bacteria that's living in there is a circumstance of the environment. Bacteria is opportunist. So you either have an environment that is going to support unhealthy bacteria, or you've got an environment that's going to support healthy bacteria. Healthy and unhealthy bacteria typically don't live in the same environment. This is kind of like cancer. Let's talk about this for a quick second, just because it's an easy way to identify. Cancer cells like to live in an acidic environment. People have healed themselves by putting their bodies in an alkaline state. If you put a cancer cell in an alkaline state, the cancer cell can't thrive or survive. So it ultimately dies, and that's the way many people have healed themselves. Think of your mouth as the same thing. If it's in an acidic state, which most foods are acidic, most dental washes and toothpaste and things like that are putting your mouth in an acidic state, the wrong bacteria is going to grow. So the fastest and easiest way to make the shift to a healthy mouth is to switch the environment inside your mouth to a healthy, more alkaline environment. You can do that obviously with foods. You want to avoid sugary foods, processed foods, and I know probably a lot of the people listening are, eat healthy. So when I'm talking healthy, I'm talking about real food. You want to stay on the aisles of the grocery store, and you want real food as pure as you can. An apple versus an apple pie. You want to buy the apple. And same thing with meats. you want very good quality meat, and you just want vegetables. If you can buy organic, that's even better. But diet really plays a key role, getting rid of as much sugar as possible, and processed foods is going to impact the health of your body and your mouth. But on the flip side of it, if you're brushing your teeth with alcohol or fluoride or sodium lauryl sulfate or peroxide, things like that are dental products, it's wiping out your good bacteria and leaving you susceptible to the bad bacteria. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So people that aren't even floxed are wiping out their good bacteria. So
Yes, but it's more, it's impactful for them, but because your immune system is already
right.
compromised, it's even more impactful, which is why you're struggling more than the average person. But we can change that around by switching the products that you're using.
So with that, I think we answered some of the questions already, so I'm just going to jump ahead. But what alternatives to fluoride actually work to remineralize and protect our teeth, especially for those of us who want to avoid synthetic toxic treatments? We know clay. I just heard you say that.
So clay is very beneficial because of those reasons that I said. It's got all of the minerals that your teeth need. It doesn't just have calcium and phos. It has manganese and magnesium and silica. The problem with your teeth is when you lose a manganese mineral, you can't replace it with a calcium or a phos. You have to replace it with a manganese. That manganese has to be in your mouth when the surface of the tooth is clean and in the exact spot that you lost that manganese mineral. So it's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. Your mouth is like, wait, I see a manganese over there. I can't put it in the tooth because it's over there. It needs to be right here, but the surface isn't clean. So that's why when you brush your teeth, that's why the dental industry has become so big, because you're cleaning your teeth. So that's the opportune time to remineralize your teeth. However, 95% of the products on the market don't contain the right ingredients to remineralize your teeth. They contain the ingredients like fluoride or all the other ingredients that are destroying the good bacteria inside your mouth. And it works, everything works in synergy inside your mouth. So clay is beautiful because it's alkaline. It's fairly neutral, but it tends to be on the alkaline side. So it's going to neutralize the acids. And the other key is when your mouth is acidic, that's when minerals leave your teeth. So they come out of your teeth when you're eating things or drinking coffee and eating acidic foods and sugary foods. When your mouth is alkaline, if the minerals are present, they will go back in your teeth if you have the right mineral. Like I said, it has to be the right mineral at the right place at the right time. That's why brushing with clay is so beneficial, because clay is slightly alkaline. It has the minerals in it, all of the minerals. So when you're brushing, it just makes sense that those holes are going to just naturally be filled in by the minerals that are in clay. I like to combine clay with baking soda because, again, clay is slightly alkaline, but typically not alkaline enough to overcome the acids in our mouth. Naturally, throughout the day, our mouth will build up a little bit of acid, especially if you're not brushing after you eat, and if you're brushing with the wrong products, and if you're drinking coffee and things like that. So, and just day-to-day talking and things like that, your mouth might become slightly more acidic. So if you're not brushing with something that's alkaline enough to rebalance the pH of your mouth while you're brushing, if you've got minerals in your teeth, you're going to spit them out in the sink anyway. So clay and baking soda are really important. A little bit of charcoal is beneficial, especially for this community, because charcoal is very good at pulling toxins. Just like clay, it's a little bit better. It's got a little bit better affinity. So think about brushing and all of the tissue inside your mouth. We're not just talking about gum tissue. I'm talking about all of the tissue on your tongue, on your palate, on your cheeks, of getting rid of all the toxins, because that fluoride and all the other toxins are hiding in places that, it's easy to hide, and your tissues is easy to hide.
Yeah, I was just sitting here looking at mine unflavored because Floxed have mast cell, And it's bentonite clay, baking soda, hydroxyapatite, and the green clay. So that's all that's in this stuff. And it, I think this is supposed to help close up holes and cavities, right?
That is correct.
I mean,
Yes.
not massive ones, I'm sure, but how long does someone have to use this to, like, how long is that process in your mouth of fixing that with something like that?
It really depends on the condition inside the mouth. So if you've got very big holes in your teeth, whether you can see them or not, if your teeth are sensitive, it might take a couple more days or longer. This also depends on your immune system. So someone that's got a normal immune system might be able to feel a difference within 3 days, but someone that's, you know, has been floxed, where your immune system is shot and your body isn't capable of healing as quickly, it might take you a little bit longer. However, making the shift usually happens pretty quickly because you're getting rid of the things that are causing the bad bacteria to thrive inside your mouth anyway. So making the shift to something other than the commercial toothpaste that, you know, are wiping out your good bacteria is going to cause your shift to happen faster. So I can't give a time frame, primarily because everybody's different, especially in this type of community where, you know, you've got an injury. Let's call it an injury. It's an injury, and you're on the mend. But there's a lot more going on behind the scenes, you know, depending on how much fluoride you have in your body and your immune system and all of those things. But the key is to make the change, because nothing's going to happen until you make the switch.
So what I'm hearing is to rebuild your microbiome. First thing is diet, eating from the outsides, which most of us do. We're so afraid of our meat. We're all organic, so we generally eat healthy. And then make your mouth more alkaline with products that you're talking about.
Yes,
And
and and also like the gum tissue. I know you mentioned earlier. I did put together, just so everyone knows. You don't have to take notes if you're listening. I did put this all in a. It's a Google folder or Google file, a Google sheet, or it's actually a Google Doc that has the tabs on the side. So almost everything that Talia and I are talking about, I've put into this document. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to see what we talked about that I didn't put in there, and I'll add it. So you don't have to worry about writing things down. And I've got recipes as well in there. So for a tooth powder as well as a gum paste that will help you heal your teeth and gums faster. I like and let me put it this way. When you make your tooth powder, I know Talia's got the one that I formulated for Primal Life Organics. Just full disclosure, I'm no longer with the company. So I can't speak to the quality of the ingredients anymore and what's inside them. Talia did mention she's using the unflavored. If you are going to go the route of purchasing a tooth powder, I do recommend anyone that's been floxed or has mast cell activation syndrome to use unflavored. The mints or any other flavor could be enough to cause an inflammatory response in your body. So that doesn't mean forever. It just means for now until you're better. I do recommend unflavored, which brings me back to making your own. When you make your own tooth powder or any product, the gum paste, anything, you control the ingredients. So you know the quality of the ingredients, you know if it's going to bother you or not. You can always do a test of an ingredient. So you can even take a little paste, put it on someplace on your gum tissue, tiny bit of like a powder, like the bentonite, just to make sure. If you're super sensitive to everything, put a little bit of the powder, bentonite before you make it on your gums. The next day, put another piece of the ingredients on, and see if you get any kind of reaction. If you do, omit it. You don't need that. So that's your body's signal to you that this isn't good for you right now. It doesn't mean forever. It just means right now. But the nice thing about making your own tooth powder is that it takes less than 5 minutes. This recipe that I have, you literally put all these powders in a jar, you shake it up, and you're good to go. Less than 5 minutes to make a batch that could actually last you 2 years if you want to make that much. I always recommend starting with the small amount. Start with the recipe I gave you. If it's working for you, then go ahead and make as big of a batch as you want. If it's not working, then you can adjust it. Try, do the test again with the ingredients, add a little bit extra of the bentonite if that seems like it's helping you, and omit a little bit more of such and such. I do have, so there's really just, it's simple ingredients and it takes very little time to make this up. The dental paste is the same way. Make the tiny bit. I use tallow in this. Tallow is really, really soothing and healing for the gum tissue. So it's just going to be a paste, same thing. You don't need to melt anything. You literally put everything in a bowl. You mix it up. If you're making a bigger batch, you can even whip it with a hand mixer. So it's a nice and like frothy, or what do you want to call it? Nice and fluffy. And then you just take a tiny bit and you just rub it on your gums and your teeth. You can put it on your teeth. The gum paste goes on after you brush. It's better to put that on after you brush because you want that paste to sit on your gums as long as it will. Now, for anyone that's got problems, and that's probably everybody that's listening right now, I do recommend that you actually brush your teeth as often as you can, even if that's 3, 4, 5 times a day. You aren't going to do any harm by over brushing with the right products. Now, if you're brushing with commercial toothpaste or anything else, I can't say that because I don't know what's in them, and they could actually be causing more harm than good. But with the recipe that I gave you, what I typically tell people is to carry a little tin, and no, this isn't it, but I have the little tin, smaller than this if you want, or even not tin because this is clay. You want to use like a glass jar. So a little tiny glass jar, you can keep it in your bag or your purse, and throughout the day you can dip your finger in the powder and you can rub it on your teeth. So even if you don't have a brush, I call it finger brushing, you can rub that on your teeth. That's going to neutralize the acids, and that's going to help to remineralize your teeth throughout the day. The more that you do that, the faster you're going to heal your teeth. Okay. Now, this is all prepping you to go to the dentist so that when you go to the dentist, your mouth is already in good condition. You already don't have as much of that bag of bacteria. There's usually still some in there because that's the nature of life. But the idea is to get your mouth in good shape, really good shape before your dental appointment. So you don't have to worry about those things.
What is your take on I don't know if it's trendy, if it actually does anything, but all these oil pulling that people do, and they're using coconut oil and all that stuff. What do you think about that stuff?
Oil pulling is good. I don't mind oil pulling. You just really need to do it for 20 to 30 minutes for it to actually work. So if you're putting, most people use coconut oil. You can use castor oil. You can use olive oil. The most palliative, or what tastes the best, is usually coconut oil, which is why people use it. If you only do it for 5 minutes, it's not giving the oil enough time because oil doesn't have the affinity that clay has. So you can do oil pulling, but here's the little, here's your little hack, if you will. Oil pulling takes 20 minutes, a minimum of 20 minutes, because it doesn't have the affinity to pull things out of your body the way that clay does. If you want to do the exact same thing in less than 2 minutes, it's clay. Clay binds very quickly and holds toxins. Even if you were to swallow the clay, and I do recommend food grade clay as often as you can. So I know bentonite's available in food grade clay. There's kaolin that's available. French green typically isn't because it's from the sea, but those two clays, you want food grade because you typically do swallow clay or toothpaste, whatever you're using to brush your teeth, you will swallow some of it. What's really great about clay is that even if you swallow it and it's holding on to a little fluoride, it's going to hold on to that fluoride all the way until you pass it out of your system the other end. I used to do, and this is something I'm not giving medical advice. So I just want to be very clear. These are just things that I have done in my past that have worked for me. So I'm just passing these things along. But I have done, and this is something that you can consider because of the affinity of clay, bentonite clay especially, to different types of toxins, including fluoride. I would take 1 tablespoon of bentonite clay, food grade bentonite clay. And by the way, even if you don't get or don't want to make the recipes, if you're going to get bentonite, I would go to my recipe list and click on the bentonite. All of the ingredients for the products, the 2 products that I have for you to make, all of the ingredients are linked. So all you have to do is click and it will take you to the right one. So you know you're buying the best quality. I've sourced the good quality, the best quality ingredients. You're not guessing. So click on the bentonite. I would take 1 tablespoon of food grade bentonite clay. I would mix it in about a cup of water, and I would drink that before I go to bed the first, second, and third day of every month. Because clay, when you drink it, it will bind to toxins and pull them out. I have had my heavy metals test done numerous times throughout my life. I've been doing these practices for almost 20 years, and I have never had a high level of any kinds of heavy metals, fluoride, anything. My levels are 0.0001. So clay does really work to help detox. So that's just one other thing that you can do to help get rid of, because the idea, really what everyone in this community really needs to do is get rid of the fluoride, the excess fluoride, or all of the fluoride. Your body isn't meant to have any fluoride in it. So you really want to be able to get rid of as much of the fluoride as possible. That is what's going to make you feel better and get better. And that's what's going to help with your bones feeling better or stronger, all of your body organs, functions, everything just getting stronger.
One of the other questions I had about remineralizing your teeth is something someone had said to me, that if you drink, you tell me if this is true or not, if you drink throughout the day, that's actually bad. It changes, like drink even water, it changes the pH of your mouth. So you need to have like a span of time where you're putting nothing into your mouth and letting your teeth do its thing to remineralize. Is that true?
I've not necessarily, I've heard that more for your gut, because your gut needs, it's like the washing, your gut really does do this cleansing. And if you're constantly got food going through your gut, then it can't do this like deep clean. So think about when you're cleaning your house, you don't do it very often, but when you do it, you don't want anything else going on. And so that's what's happening in your gut. Your mouth is a little bit different just because, we have to hydrate throughout the day. Water is probably the best thing. Water is, anything else I would say could impact that, because most drinks, including coffee, tea, anything that's got sugar or soda, all of those are acidic. So yes, anything besides water, I would say you would probably want to make sure that you're spanning out the time that you're drinking those. Water throughout the day isn't going to be harmful. Water is more neutral, so it's not going to harm your good bacteria. It's not going to feed your bad bacteria. There's nothing in water that's going to feed bad bacteria. So drinking water throughout the day, even swishing with water, if you do eat something and you can't brush your teeth, just taking a, even at the restaurant, swishing and swallowing will help to remove some of the acid and the food that might be stuck in your teeth, just until you can at least get to the bathroom or home to brush your teeth or even floss.
And I've got so many questions for you. I'm sorry. The more you talk, the more questions I have. What is your take on these oral microbiome tests? Like, oh my God, what's the one? Bristle. Like, what do you think about tests like that? Are they beneficial? Should people waste their money? Like, what do you think?
I don't want to say that they're not beneficial, because I know everything has its place, but I guess if you're someone that already knows that your bacteria isn't healthy, it's not going to, it might not tell you much that you're not already going to make the change for, if that makes sense. If you know that your mouth isn't in good condition, you've got unhealthy bacteria, gums are bleeding or inflamed, you can take the test. I don't know what they're going to recommend outside of, I mean, they might recommend other things that I am not, because what I have done is what I'm teaching you or telling you is the things that have worked for me and I've seen work for people over the years. Probiotics are, I know probiotics are another thing that people ask about. And, you know, it's one of those things where you might be wasting your money if you're taking a probiotic or brushing with something that's got a probiotic, but all the other things in the product are harmful, or you're taking a probiotic mint and then eating something right afterwards that, or drinking coffee or something that is acidic. So everything has to be in its place. So there are certain, and actually in the recipe I give you, there are some prebiotics that you can add to the tooth powder if you want, like inulin. A good prebiotic, you can add a little scoop of that to the tooth powder and you can brush with it. It's not going to hurt. Will it help? I don't know that either. You don't know. You just never know. But it really depends on what you're using and like your practices throughout the day. But using a prebiotic or a probiotic in the mouth is only beneficial if your mouth is okay, because if you've got bad bacteria, it's going to override that pre-bacteria anyway. And if what you're doing after you use it is not going to sabotage it, if you will.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was just going to ask something else. You're making me think of so many questions. It'll come to me. But for now, I'll just talk about actually going to the dentist. So when we actually go to the dentist, what kind of dentist should we be looking for? And what are the red flags we should be paying attention to, even at a normal dentist or the dentist that the type of dentist you're going to recommend?
Yeah, I know this is a scary topic for all of you, I'm sure. I don't like the dentist and I don't have any dental issues. So I can imagine what happens, you know, the stress and the fear that comes up, especially in your situation. So what I would recommend is if you can, and I have to say, it's worth driving a couple hours if you can find a biological dentist. Biological dentist is the best dentist, in my opinion, because they are very in tune with how the mouth is actually working alongside all of the other organs in the body. They're also going to use that, they have better practices as far as cleaner or healthier types of products that they're using, whether it would be fillings or cleanings or whatever. They just are more cognizant of, you know, what types of ingredients are in those products that they're using. So a biological dentist, I'm lucky because I can do this, but just to tell you how important I think a biological dentist is, I couldn't find one in my hometown in Ohio. There is one now that's about an hour and a half away from me. However, at that time when I couldn't find one, I was flying from Ohio to Scottsdale, Arizona. And then at one point I was going to Los Angeles, California for a biological dentist. So anybody in the Los Angeles area, Dr. Sonda Moldavan is very good, MOL. And I've got her MOLDAVAN, I think. I've got her reference, but otherwise you can go to, there's a website, it's listed in my resources in the guide, where you can go and put in your address or your zip code and you can find a biological dentist near you. If you can't find a biological dentist, they're just way too far away for your means. A holistic dentist would be the next option. They are kind of in between the mainstream dentist and the biological dentist. So they're kind of in the middle. So a holistic dentist would be the next option. If you have to go to a mainstream dentist, then there are, and regardless of what dentist you go to, I did write down some questions or things that you can ask them before you either go see them for the first time or before your next visit. One of the things that is really important to understand is, I know a lot of people have said they get reactions to the anesthetics like lidocaine. One of the things that's in lidocaine is epinephrine. And most people don't realize this. If you get heart palpitations when you get an injection of lidocaine, it's not the lidocaine giving you the heart racing, it's epinephrine. And the reason epinephrine is in there is because it works with lidocaine, that it makes it work faster and longer and better. So it amplifies the way lidocaine works. And it also vasoconstricts, so it will help cut down on a little bit of bleeding at the same time. So most dentists will use a lidocaine epinephrine mix. You can request, and the other problem is that most of the lidocaine has preservatives like methylparaben in it. Anytime you have mast cell activation or you've been floxed, your immune system is already hyper alert. So when they're injecting something into your gum tissue that has these preservatives, your immune system just goes haywire. And that's why so many of you will get those types of reactions. What you can do is call ahead, especially if you know you need to have a procedure done, and ask or request that they get preservative-free anesthetic. And this is in my handout, so you don't have to write it down. But yes, you just want to see if they can get preservative-free. If they can't get preservative-free, I would try and shop around. Most biological, when I asked Dr. Sonda if that's something she can get very easily, she said, yes, she just has to get it. It's easy for her to get. It's easy for a dentist to get preservative-free lidocaine and lidocaine without epinephrine. You want to get those two types or that type of anesthetic. You can decline fluoride treatments. I'm sure most of you know this, but I just want to reiterate, most dentists are going to want fluoride. You know, they're going to have fluoride in their dental products. You can request, and even before you go, call ahead. Do you use fluoride? Do you have a fluoride-free option? If they don't have a fluoride-free option, can I bring my own? I make my own tooth powder. I have one that I know is safe for me. Can I bring my own for you to use? Some dentists, especially a biological dentist, most likely isn't using fluoride anyway, but they would be more likely to say, yes, you can bring your own. Even rinses, you know, making sure you're not using their rinse or clarifying, does this have fluoride in it? It's not just fluoride though. It's all the other ingredients like the preservatives. So even their rinses, can I just rinse with water and bring your own water? You can, you know, I do this when I go to the beauty salon or when I get my hair done. I bring my own things. If I go to a massage, I will sometimes bring my own massage oil. So start thinking about things, places that you go, that instead of being subjected to what they have, if you know what you're using on your body is safe for you, bring what you're using. And if they don't accommodate you, then you've got a choice to make. Can I find someone who will? Is it worth it? Do I need to have this done? You know, is it imperative to my health to have this done, or do I have time that I can find someone else in order to do it the right way for my body? Because the last thing you want to do is to walk into a procedure feeling okay and to walk out a complete mess that takes you a week or 2 weeks to recover from.
Yeah. Is there any way around getting x-rays? I know that seems pretty obvious at the dentist, but x-rays are really bad for our mitochondria. So people that are like severely floxed like me try to stay away from that. Is there an alternative to that, or no? I don't think there is. Is there?
No, there's no alternative, but I do encourage you to open the conversation with your dentist, because who says that it has to be done today? You know, if you're making some changes in your health, can we have the conversation where I know you want me to have this scan, a CT or an x-ray. I'm changing what I'm doing right now. I feel like I might feel better in 3 months or 6 months. Can we put this off? Is there a reason that it has to be done today? If they're looking for an infection, maybe it needs to be done today. But if it's just a yearly or just to check, then maybe they can say, let's wait 3 months or let's wait 6 months. On your next checkup, we'll do it. So I really believe in opening the dialogue and being completely honest with your dentist or your doctor, whoever you're seeing. But that's one of the key things that a biological dentist will be more in tune to, is if you're really struggling with your health, and you're really in the thick of it, maybe now isn't the time, or maybe now really has to be the time because we think that one of the root causes is one of your teeth. So that's just a conversation that they have to have with you, but they probably won't start that conversation because they're going to want to get it done today. You're here today, let's get it done today. But if you start that conversation, you can be more clear about, does this need to be done today? What are you looking for? Are you expecting to find something? Or is this just routine that can wait 3 to 6 months to see if I'm feeling better and my mouth and my body and my immune system are healthier?
One of the other things I wanted to ask was, when somebody contacts a biological dentist, I feel like I heard it more from a biological dentist than holistic, because I've called around too, is they start talking to you about cavitations, and how damaging it is to your mouth and your oral microbiome. So for anybody that's going to make that call and get overwhelmed with this cavitation, do you mean cavity? No. What is the cavitation? Why do we care about them?
Yeah, a cavitation is, think about it like a little cave. That's why I think the word cavitation kind of comes from cave. And so you've got this little tunnel, there's some pathway. A lot of tunnels have like a narrow entrance and then you walk in and it's this dark cave. So think about it that way. So whether it's a dead tooth or it's a pulled tooth, there's some tunnel that leads up to a hole inside your bone tissue or up inside your bone area. And inside there, anytime you have any kind of tunnel, you can always get especially bacteria that has been up there or left up there or migrated up there. And it's just the right environment for bacteria to breed. And so you can get a abscess or an infection, and it happens quite frequently. You might not have any symptoms at all. I know my husband had one at one point. Really didn't have any symptoms until it hurt really bad, and he went to the dentist and they were like, wow, there's a huge abscess that's been going on for a really long time. So that's why the dentists are so, they talk about it and they want to look and see, because you could have zero symptoms for a really long time as far as pain goes, but internally that infection, because it's linked, your mouth is linked to all of your organs, could be causing more immune responses inside your body and more inflammation and problems internally. So that's the reason that they always want to check for those cavitations, is because even though you're not feeling anything, you still could have that going on. It could be impairing your health in different ways that you don't think about.
Thank you for that. That's very overwhelming when you call them and they start talking about that. You're like, what now? What else do I have to worry about? I'm looking at the time and I want to make sure that I get people to ask questions, because I know they have questions. So many people have reached out to me. But before I do that, I always love to leave with a message of hope, right? Because, and I'm hoping that you can give us a message of hope, because as someone that's floxed, in general, I feel like people are afraid of going to the dentist, but as someone that's floxed, it's terrifying, and of the fluoride, of the dentist, of the x-rays, that we just don't go. So, and then our teeth just get worse and worse. They fall out. We have all these issues, and then it just snowballs into this, feels like point of no return. Half the people's teeth are falling out, right? So what message of hope can you give us that we can save our teeth and safely go to a dentist that won't flare us?
Yeah, I can feel the pain. I totally feel the pain. I always say you're not stuck with the teeth you have. Like, you can make a change. I've seen this happen for people that have had bad dental health for years and years and years. Make a simple change to what they're using, and maybe their diet and things like that, health, just different types of health things, but make the change pretty quickly. Again, everybody here is different. You already have issues going on, but typically you can see and feel a change in your dental health fairly quickly. When you're brushing with something that's putting minerals back in your teeth and supporting your good microbiome, it doesn't typically take that long. Usually 3 to 7 days, you start to feel and notice a change inside your mouth. Will it be completely healed in 7 days? Most likely not, especially if you've got some ongoing dental issues related to being floxed that have been going on for a while. The other main thing to know is that there are places out there and doctors out there that are working with people and have floxed, and I'm assuming, Talia, you've talked about this on other shows, that they can go to for detoxing the fluoride out of their body. There's some doctors that have floxed detox programs. And I would highly recommend, even if it's far away, to contact them. I don't know if these are, you have to go to them, or if this is, they do it long distance. I have no idea, because this isn't my expertise, but I would really encourage everyone to go through this Floxed detox program. If you search for a Floxed detox program in Google, you can find it. I think I have one listed. Dr. Mark Gallia, I think is his name. It's in
Galili.
Galili, yes.
Yeah.
He's the one that Dr. Sonda Moldovan refers to. But his program, I've contacted him. He's very responsive. And yes, he does have a Floxed program. I would encourage you to check into it. Even financially, if you feel like it's not something you can do, the amount of money that you are going to spend on your health trying to just feel better in the long run is going to be worth going through a detox program that will help you get rid of the fluoride. Because let's face it, that's what's causing the problems. That's like a root cause. And if you're not going to get to the root cause, you're literally putting a Band-Aid on. I can help you with the dental health and detoxing the mouth tissue. If you want to try doing the bentonite clay, you can also put bentonite in your bathtub, a cup of bentonite clay in your bathtub, soak in it for 20 minutes to a half an hour. That will help to pull some toxins out of your tissues as well. But I do highly encourage everybody to just look into one of those programs, because all of those pieces fitting together are going to make you feel better and heal so much faster from the inside as well as the outside.
Well, thank you, Trina. I appreciate it. And I think, I don't know, Jacqueline will come back or something, or put the questions on the bottom so we can answer. Oh, there we go.
I know that, I don't know if you guys want to post the link. Do you have the link that anybody that wants it can go get the free download so they don't have to worry and get
Yeah,
the
she's going to
recipe?
show that at the end. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And when I post after this, I'm going to post the link to the world on all my social media platforms.
Yeah, and that's a living document. So I will update that. So even if you look at it today or tomorrow, check back, periodically, just to see if there's been anything that I added.
Yeah. So the first question here is, my parents used to regularly give me those pink fluoride tablets. I can't imagine how bad they were for me now. I didn't get those, so I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I kind of think I might remember, but I don't think I ever really took them myself. But the main thing is don't beat yourself up about what you did in the past, and even what happened to you. What happened to you happened to you, and you have to get the mindset that not victim. I don't want to be a victim. I want to be a survivor, and I want to be a hero and help other people. So I think that's one of the hardest mindsets to get out of. If this happened to me and I can't do anything about it, because you really can. There's a lot of things that you have under your control. Making the switch of diet, making the switch of what you're brushing your teeth with, maybe seeing a holistic dentist, maybe going through a Floxed detox program. Those are things that are under your control, but you really have to make sure that you're taking care of your mind up here, and that you don't feel like you've been defeated, because you can't be defeated unless you let yourself be defeated. So I know, Talia, I've seen your videos. You never gave up. That's why you're here. You've
Mhm.
done so much for this community. And Talia is not the only one. Just take a piece of her energy and what she's done and her mindset. If she didn't have that survivor mindset, you guys wouldn't be listening to me right now. Nobody would have this community. So it's really important to think of yourself as the survivor, even if you're in the thick of it and you are surviving this. You just have to you have to put the puzzle pieces together and put your life back together and build. It's never going to look the same. It's actually going to be better.
I'm like, are there any more questions? Here's the link to Trina's download. It's posted there, but like I said, I'll post it all over the place afterwards. Oh, I just saw a question. I recently canceled my hygienist appointment last month because they gave me a fluoride treatment, and I never had one of those in adult, but he only told me it was, while it was in process. So it was already in her mouth when they told her. That's messed up.
Yeah.
There's a red flag. That's probably on her list. They should ask you before they do it.
Well, I would be proactive. Don't wait for them to tell you. From now on, before you go in, you need to make sure before your appointment is even that day, I would call ahead and say, can you put no fluoride on my chart? No fluoride at all. And then when you get there, reiterate, no fluoride. Tell the hygienist, I know I'm being crazy, but no fluoride for me. Not in toothpaste, not in anything. You have to be proactive. You have to remember these people are, the hygienists and the dentists and the receptionists deal with people all day long. They're never going to remember. Most of the time, they're just busy taking care of what's going on and putting fires out. You have to be proactive, even if you wore a sticker that said no fluoride. That way, everybody that comes in, you don't necessarily have to say anything. You can even just point to it if you want. But I would be so proactive that no fluoride for me, please, to everybody.
Trying to see if there's another question because I have one. Ozone mouth rinse, good or bad?
Ozone is a good and a bad. So ozone will kill off some good bacteria. So I don't like ozone to be used every day. If you have something going on inside your mouth, or if you're gonna have a procedure and they really don't want any bad bacteria, I feel like ozone's okay for certain situations or like a once off, but I don't like the ozone treatments or mouth rinses that people use every day because I feel like it's just like peroxide, it's just like alcohol. It's not as harmful, but over time, if you're using it every day, it definitely could be. So good and bad. Or the red light. Red light therapy, yes, is very, very good for gum tissue. I was going to mention this. I just didn't want to overwhelm everybody. There is a couple devices out there. Primal Life does sell one. Again, I'm not with the company anymore. Red light therapy, it's on a mouthpiece that you put in your mouth. The red light shines on your gum tissue, and red light increases blood flow, reduces inflammation. Blue light, the blue light's beneficial too. Blue light will kill the bad bacteria without killing the healthy bacteria. So I usually, when I do mine, I set it on red and blue, so you can do them together. But you can always do an additional red light therapy. You can't do too much red light. I wouldn't do it more frequent than once or twice a day. But if you do, I think it's a 20-minute treatment, and then at night before bed, if you pop the red light in for 5 minutes, you'll be good. But red light will increase blood flow, reduce inflammation, and just speed healing of the gum tissue. So yeah, the red and blue light inside the mouth is really beneficial, and it's non-invasive. It's not going to hurt. You just want to make sure that you're not putting anything on your teeth that's going to be harmful. So even you want to make sure that you can even put like the toothpaste or powder that you have, like if you make your own, or even the gum paste would be good. You can even blend the two. You can take some of your gum paste recipe and add in the toothpaste, and then use that to put it on your teeth and gums, and then pop the device in. You just don't want to be using, because this is the other piece you got to be cognizant of. You don't want to be using anything that has any chemicals, peroxide, alcohol, anything in it that is going with the red light, because it's going to negate all of that. So just you can use the red light itself without anything, but I actually like using like the gum paste on my gums and then putting the device in the mouth.
I know we're getting close to time.
I know, that was fast.
I know. I will just reiterate that the document that Trina has created, I will put, there's a link right here, but all my posts, you guys know after I do this show, I have lots of posts and lots of clips. I will include that in every single clip. You have to go to the website, sign up, and you will get an email. I already did it to check it out, so I already downloaded it. Make sure you check your junk email, because that's where it went for me, but you will get it.
It typically goes to promotions, so check your promotions.
Yeah. And do you have anything else to add before we close, Trina?
No, I would love, if anybody has any questions, it's really important. I just want to introduce this thought that skincare and beauty products are really important for this community as well. So at some point I can either come back and we can talk about that, or I'll host a webinar or a Q&A session on my site. So just check your emails. But, you know, anybody that's dealing with any kind of inflammatory skincare products are really important as well.
Yeah, I think we'll have to do a part 2, because a lot of us are very sensitive to skincare products. So it'd be good to have you back. And for everybody looking, this is Trina's, her Instagram. She's very active on Instagram. So make sure you go there to check her out and follow her. And with that, I guess, thank you, everybody. This concludes my 5th show of This is Floxed. And thank you for watching. I hope this has been very helpful. And like Trina said, that document that she created is a living document, and I'm sure she will update it as questions come through. Thank you for watching, and until next time, thanks, everybody.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram-Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Steve Klein Art at steveklein.art.
My name is Steve Klein, born Manchester, England, 1953. My quest in my lifetime is to create artwork from my soul and the deepness within my wildest dreams and fantasies. In 2012, my heart stopped when I was given too much anesthetic for a minor knee operation, and this near-death experience took me to another multidimensional world, an out-of-body experience, and I was given the gift of being blessed by an overwhelming, burning passion to become, for the very first time in my life, an artist with an eternal, passionate desire to bring my art, which I've named multidimensional, subliminal, freeform art, to the world, as only 3% recover from what I experienced, and now in my golden years want to release my cosmic, vital energy through my art to allow people to be a part of my cosmic dance.
To learn more, email roccogoodwine@gmail.com. For VIP pricing, mention USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.